waiting for you. Joe, we're waiting for you to start. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ghana International Press Center. Today, February the 18th, 2025. We thank God for this day and for giving us the strength to carry on. On behalf of the GJA President, Mr. Albert Jumfo, I'd like to welcome you all to this presser. We will be talking about an update on cases, particularly the Ahmed Suale case as well as the others. I'm sure you've all seen the flyer that's been already circulated for today's program. I will be talking about recent cases of assault on journalists as well as some critical issues that are pertaining to national issues that we all need to be part of as journalists. In a moment, the president of the GJA, Mr. Albert Jumfo, will be addressing us. But before we do that, we would bring to the podium the General Secretary of the GJA, Mr. Kofi Yeboah. Let me introduce to you the people who are at the high table right now. From the extreme end, you have Audrey Dekalu, she is the treasurer, national treasurer for the GJA. Next to Audrey, national organizing secretary, is Dominic Longi, and of course the president is working on his notes, as you can see, Mr. Albert Jumfo, and then of course the general secretary himself. I think I did introduce myself earlier. Rebecca Ekpe is my name, Public Affairs Officer of the GJA. The Vice President is not here with us. She's on another assignment currently. We'll invite to the podium now for a prelude to the President speaking to us, the General Secretary of the GJA, Mr. Kofi Yeboah. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Kofi.
Becky, thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone. And since we are still in the month of love, I wish you all happy love month.
Happy chocolate.
So, as my dear sister Becky indicated, today we have invited you here for an update on earlier communications we had made to you. You may recall that at the beginning of the year, specifically on 22nd January, we had held our first press conference. And at that meeting, we put a few issues across. We think it is important we are updating you on those issues, and then also use the opportunity to address other emerging issues. So that is what we are going to do. Mainly, we'll be looking at the Ahmed Suale case. You may recall in our maiden press conference, we had indicated that if by March ending we hadn't seen or heard anything concrete, we'll be heading towards the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice to seek a redress there, together with the case of Latif Idrisu. The President has some update for us in that regard, and we are believing that the demands we put across will be heeded too. Otherwise, we'll be left with no choice than to go to that external or international forum to seek a redress. You know, the cases of Ahmed Suale and Latif Idrisu have been hanging for far too long. In respect of Ahmed Suale, the international community is very much interested in that case. And if you've been observing and tracking, every year the report on Ghana, as far as the World Press Freedom Index is concerned, there's always a mention of Ahmed Suale. It tells you how at the international front they are watching the space here, how we are addressing the issue. You may also recall that we had also spoken about some attacks on our colleagues from the multimedia group, Ohimin Tevia, which happened last month. And then also we know about the case of Erastus Asaridonko. His happened last year. Okay, President again has some good news for us, or some news to share on those issues. You know, this administration, we have made it clear that we will not countenance any attack on a member of the association or a journalist. So last year we had done a lot of work in this regard. We had blacklisted some politicians for attacking the media, but it is something that is not stopping. And as we say in our local parlance, once the predator keeps chasing, and the prey must keep running. Okay, so we will also continue to address these issues as and when they emerge. Recently, there have been some cases of assault. President will address them too. You may recall during the Council of State elections, there were one case at the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council, and 4 journalists were involved. It is a wonder that we had national elections, and we didn't hear any attacks on the media on a general note. And then this small Council of State election, we are being attacked. Okay, we are going to address those issues. Much recently, we also have reports of some attacks in the northeast region. Okay, and 2 of our colleagues were also attacked. And President is also going to address them all. Sometimes these attacks are only meant to put fear in us, to intimidate us, to stop us from doing our job. But this is not something that is going to cow us into not doing our job. And we will do whatever it takes to defend members of the association. Then President will also be addressing some national issues, and it is not always that we want to be looking at issues about ourselves, but sometimes we also need to look at issues broadly. You know, the mandate we have as the media is very broad. They say we are watchdogs of society. Okay, so we don't only watch over the media space, but we also have the mandate to watch over the space of national affairs. So what we have decided to do this year is that from time to time we will pick issues one after the other to address them, believing that the powers that be will take note to address them. So today we are going to address one such national concern. And also, sometimes we are talking about media freedom, but we tend to lose sight of media responsibility. Freedom goes with responsibility. So we don't always will come here to talk about our rights, our freedoms, but we also will address responsibility issues. So if we are not doing our job well, we don't have to sit down for people to point them to us. We need to do introspection. We need to be able to point out the issues ourselves, and that is what we call self-regulation. So you are regulating yourself and not waiting for an external authority or force to come and tell you what to do. So when we come across anything untoward professionally, we will also address them. Sometimes concerned citizens have been reaching out to us. Okay, and today one of such issues we are going to address came from somebody who is so much concerned, and we have looked at the issue, the concern he raised, we have discussed it, and we think it is a matter we must address so that we are keeping the sanctity of the profession. So we will be doing that as well. But just before President will come, And let me highlight something to do with our safety and security. Okay, and it is very much important. Our senior colleague, Samson Ladianene, has been emphasizing this. Okay, we don't know when we may come under attack. Okay, sometimes you may think what you are doing is not harmful, but the nature of our work is said that everything you are doing, somebody may not be happy about it. Even if you are in the studio, okay, somebody may not be happy. Okay, so every time you want to take some precautions. So what Samson has been advising is that whenever you come under attack, the first thing you want to do is to preserve evidence. Okay, many a time we want to rush to the media to put our stories there. Okay, but we in the executive, we have made it a point that we will go beyond issuing press statements, organizing press conferences, to even take legal action. But when you go to court, the only language they understand is evidence. Without evidence, there's nothing we can do. And sometimes you guys are asking us, so what are we doing beyond the press statement? But you can also not go to court if you don't have evidence. So as soon as you come under attack, please do well to preserve evidence, do well to report the matter to the police, get a medical form, go to hospital. Then you want to preserve the evidence. Don't go home and come back. Okay, because, for example, you've been attacked, you sustain a cut on your forehead, but you don't go to report the case immediately. Then the following day, you are going to the police station. And if you take the offender to court, his or a lawyer may come and say that, oh, this attack, you were going home and you fell into a gutter because you didn't take immediate steps. Okay, so it is always important we are paying attention to those little things. Okay, then also sometimes what we have observed and the concerns we have is that sometimes you are in a team, your colleague is under attack, and we just abandon the person. We need to move as a team. The only reason the soldiers are strong, the police are strong, is that they come as a team. So we should be each other's brother and keeper, so that we are covering each other's back anytime we come and attack. I think I will end it here, so President will come and take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the General Secretary, for that insight into issues about safety of journalists. Very, very important that we keep our safety issues and wear our safety hats in the discharge of our duties. I think that he said it all. We always hear people tell us no story is bigger than our lives, and we must live to tell the story. So in our anticipation and anxiety to get the news told and the story told, we still have to make sure that we stay alive to be able to continue telling the story. Thank you very much, the General Secretary. Very shortly, we'll have the President address us more into details while we're here. And let me remind everyone that we're streaming live on our Facebook page, the Ghana Journalists Association. We're also live on GBC News. We are live on, I believe, TV3. No, actually, we are live on Joy News and all other platforms that have joined us today for this all-important press conference. Thank you very much for joining us. Very shortly, we'll be hearing from the President of the Ghana Journalists Association, and I'm very much sure that a lot of you will be very excited to hear more about what the national issue is, despite the issues of Ahmed Suale and the others. And like has been said, and I will reiterate, it's very important that we are part of the national conversations. After all, we're an aspect of they call us the fourth estate, and we're an arm of government. Besides the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, we have the media. And in fact, the media of them all, for me, if you ask me, is the most important. Because without the media, everything else that is done within the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, we don't see it. We tell the story. And I'm sure you all will agree with me that when it happened in Parliament, the media was there to tell the story. Thank you very much for staying true to your call. And we'll invite to the podium the indefatigable president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Albert Jumfo, to address us. Mr. Jumfo, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rebecca Amasewa Epe, and thank you, Mr. Edmond Kofi-Atta, the Secretary, for a good job done. And I hope today I can see that a massive media presence here. And yes, I want to appreciate the team and also the media here for attaching seriousness to our own issue. The way the podium is full with cameras, I don't even have where to put my statement. But I'm not saying that. I know you guys don't come and tell me to come and change this one again. I know the way you harassed me to change it. So we'll manage. Thank you so much. And good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon. And I must indicate that we are live on Joy News, and then GTV, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, BC News, yeah, and other major platforms. Members of the National Executive of the GJA, colleague media practitioners, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you all, once again.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of the National Executive of the GJA, I wish to thank you for honoring our invitation. Today, we have invited you here to update you on some concerns raised at the beginning of the year, as alluded by the General Secretary. Recent attacks on journalists and some matters of national concern or interest. We hope the concerns and matters we raise today and in the future will receive the needed attention to enhance the growth and development of our dear country. Cases of Ahmed Suale and others. Colleagues, you may recall that in our maiden press conference for this year held on 22nd January, we expressed deep concern about the delay in finding the killers of Ahmed Suale. We indicated that, given the fast eroding trust and confidence in the police in respect of investigation, arrest, and prosecution of suspects involved in the murder of Ahmed Suale, the GJA may seek redress in international forums. In that regard, we served the notice that if by the end of March 2025, the Ghana Police Service has not come out with something concrete on the investigation, arrest, and prosecution of suspects in the murder case, we shall proceed to the Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS, that is in short ECOWAS, Community Court of Justice, to seek resolution of this matter. We also indicated that we would rather take similar action for Lateef Idrissi for similar reasons. In the case of Ahmed Suale, our international partners, including the Federation of African Journalists, FAJ, and the International Federation of Journalists, IFJ, have also indicated their readiness to pursue justice for the investigative journalists at other international forums. Colleagues, I am here to report to you that just yesterday, I had a meeting with the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Ekufu Dampare, to discuss this and other matters. The IGP gave me heartwarming assurances in dealing with these issues. And to that extent, we wish to highly commend him. While holding the assurances of the IGP in good faith, we still remain faithful to our demands, and that if we don't see or hear anything concrete from the police after the end of March 2025, we shall proceed to the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice to find justice for Suale and Latif. Once again, we urge the Inspector General of Police, the Attorney General, and Minister of Justice, and the President to take keen interest in these cases. I must admit that the IGP assured us of his full cooperation going forward and promised to work closely with the GJA and its regional commanders in the regions where some journalists have been attacked to ensure that the issues raised with him receive prompt response and reaction from the police. Attacks against journalists. Colleagues, in our maiden press conference, we also addressed the barbaric attack on Ahmed of the Multimedia Group Limited by a mob of illegal small-scale miners operating in the Offense Shelter Belt Forest Reserve. Ahmed, while leading a joint news team to cover a police operation to clamp down on the activities of the illegal miners, was nearly killed by the mob. We also record how Erastus Asari Donko, another journalist of the Multimedia Group Limited, was brutally assaulted by small-scale miners last year. As we speak, 1 month after the attack on Ahmed and 1 year after Erastus was brutally attacked, the police have not yet prosecuted the perpetrators to ensure justice for our injured colleagues. While grappling with the attack on Ahmed as the first case of assault against journalists in 2025, the count became rapid when 6 journalists were assaulted within a space of 1 week in the month of February. 4 of the attacks occurred in Kumasi in the Ashanti region and 2 at Waliwali in the Northeast region. It is very sad to note that in the month of love, when people are demonstrating love to their dear ones with red gifts, our colleagues who were in the line of duty were made to see red blood as reward for serving Mother Ghana. It is also disheartening to note that just about 50 days into the second John Mahama administration, we have witnessed 7 cases of assault against journalists. And I stress on that it is also disheartening to know that just about 50 days into the second John Mahama administration, we have witnessed 7 cases of assault against journalists. This is unprecedented. Colleagues, in the Kumasi incident, the 4 journalists were assaulted on February 11, 2025, while covering the election of the Ashanti region representative on the Council of State. The election took place at the Regional Coordinating Council, the office of the regional minister, Ashanti regional minister, who is also the chairman of the Regional Security Council, in short, RECSEC. Strangely, some thugs managed to invade the premises to disrupt the election process and viciously assault the 4 journalists. Colleagues, the GJ Ashanti region assisted the victim to go to hospital and report the matter to the police. Our intelligence suggests that the thugs and criminals who assaulted the journalists are supporters or sympathizers of the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC. Unfortunately, no arrest or prosecution have been made. The mind-boggling question is, if RECSEC cannot provide security in its own backyard, how can it provide security elsewhere? This only sends worrying signals that Ghana is heading towards a state of anarchy. It appears there's no law and order, and there's no security in the country. That is most unfortunate. Colleagues, in the Wale case, journalist Alassane Dukulugu of Asasi Radio and journalist Tahiru Ibrahim of ZAR Multimedia were assaulted by military personnel while covering an incident involving the setting ablaze of a bus at Nelerigu Junction. The incident occurred in the presence of the police, but they neither protected the journalists nor arrested the perpetrators, as the police are mandated to do by law. We once again call on the Ghana Police Service, as promised by the IGP, to bring the perpetrators to face justice. We will not end there. We also call on the Military High Command to investigate this incident and sanction the wayward military personnel. The assault of the 2 journalists at Wale and other incidents of lawlessness and impunity across the country fortify our belief that Ghana is heading to a state of anarchy, and people of good conscience must resist and halt that trend. We also intend to petition the Military High Command over the Wale incident, since it involves a soldier. And we trust in the competences. We trust in the competence of General Thomas upon Pepper, the Chief of the Defense Staff, to do the needful to bring his boy to order. Colleagues, there were some disturbing issues that attended the Wale incident, which need to be addressed frontally. First, after the journalists had produced their ID cards to establish their identity, the soldiers allegedly asked why they, that's the journalists, were not wearing branded jackets. We wish to make this clear that in as much as wearing of branded jackets may be desirable for journalists in their field of work, even for their safety and security, not doing so does not take away their real and true identity. And we dare say it does not in any way whatsoever warrant assaults. It is also not the duty of a soldier or police, our men and women in uniform, to tell a journalist the attire to wear as clearance for discharging their constitutional watchdog mandate. Their job is to protect journalists and civilians from harm, not to subject them to harm. And their mandate is to assist journalists and civilians, not to assault them. The second issue is the assertion made by the security personnel that the journalists could not cover the incident because they, that the security personnel, were undertaking an operation. That is absolutely false. We are not aware of any law that shields security personnel from media scrutiny in the public space. In fact, there are many instances where the courts have ruled in favor of media coverage of the activities of security personnel in the public space. So for the police and military to operate with such mindset is tantamount to lawlessness. Colleagues, we wish to take this opportunity to appeal to one of our own, senior member of this fraternity, the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, to take a personal interest in these cases as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and ensure that the perpetrators are arrested, arraigned, and punished for their crimes. In making this appeal, we remind the President of the commitment he made to the media and the nation on 7 July 2024 at the Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel during a media engagement. On that occasion, I, on behalf of the GJ and the media fraternity, asked President Mahama, then flag bearer of the NDC, about his thoughts on the privatization of the state-owned media and assault against media practitioners. The president said he was against, yes, the president said once again, he was against both instances and pledged to promote the interests of the media at all times. This is the time we expect the president, who is one of us, to redeem his pledge and to share in the plight of journalists. We shall continue to remind him of his assuring words. We hope he will not give us cause to believe those words were mere rhetoric. Undesirable media practices. Colleagues, we do not always cry about negative treatment against media practitioners. We also decry negative media practices, both with a view to ensuring free and responsible media. Our attention has been drawn to one of such negative media practices, which we wish to address promptly. It is about the designation of the midday news on Angel FM. They call it orgasm news. We think using the word orgasm to christen the midday news defiles decency in journalism. We urge the management of Angel FM to be positively innovative and find an angelic name for the midday news. Taking counsel from 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23. All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. All things are lawful, but not all things edify. American Standard Version. The management of Angel FM ought to appreciate the mission of angels. They bring good news, not orgasm news. Issues of national concern. Colleagues, in our maiden press conference for this year, we justified the mandate of the GJA to address critical issues of national concern and not just those bordering on the media. We made reference to our broad watchdog mandate under Article 162, Clause 5 of the 1992 Constitution as the basis for justification. As the basis for such justification. Proceeding from that tangent, one critical national issue we wish to address today is the high cost of locally produced chocolate. As you can see, we've demonstrated some here. There has always been a clarion call on Ghanaian and other nationals resident in the country to consume made in Ghana products. There is also a good reason for renaming Valentine's Day as National Chocolate Day in Ghana and dedicating the month of February for chocolate consumption, the month of love. We are all expected to show love with chocolate to our dear ones on Chocolate Day. Is it not the case?
Yeah.
But the price of locally produced chocolate is too high and way beyond the pockets of the middle and lower classes of society. For instance, one bar of golden tree, one bar of golden tree chocolate is sold at wholesale price for 25 Ghana cedis at the Cocoa Board shop in Accra. In other shops, the same bar of chocolate is sold at retail price for 30 Ghana cedis, while on the streets it is sold for 40 Ghana cedis. How many Ghanaians can afford this with the current minimum wage of 18.15 pesos? They cannot afford this. But since their taste buds are active and they may crave for chocolate, the reasonable thing for them to do is to resort to foreign products at the detriment of our national economy. Why can't Ghana, the second leading cocoa producer in the world, produce chocolate at affordable prices for Ghanaians to enjoy the fruit of their labor and the gift from their maker? We urge the Cocoa Board and our very good friend and brother who is now leading the charge, Comrade and Senior Randy Abe, and Cocoa Processing Company to do something about this, since we are still in the chocolate month, the month of love. Long live press freedom in Ghana. Long live GJA. Long live Ghana. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President of GJA, Mr. Agyapong. I think we got that message. We got that message right. I think the most interesting one will be the chocolate affair, because we all love chocolate, don't we? You know, sometimes you need to bring it down a bit. You don't need to be overly serious. It's the month of love, by the way. You know, but on a more serious note, there's absolutely no justification for an attack on a journalist. Absolutely. We got that message right. There's no justification. You can't justify anything at all. Okay, so our friends from the Ghanaian language speaking stations, yes, you would get a translation, because I know someone just whispered, and the president has also clarified that. So there'll be opportunity for you to get a translation on everything for your audience as well. Very, very important. Thank you very much. So we'll take questions at this time. You come up to the podium, you mention your name, your media house, and your question related to today's press conference. So we'll take the first set of questions for those who have any questions. Yes, you would have opportunity to have a bite of that as well, of the no, the chocolate as well. Yes. So just take it easy. We'll come to that shortly. Any questions? Daily analyst. Yes, come up. We'll take daily analyst. We'll take you from Ghana's news agency. Yeah, go ahead. Your name, your media house, and then your question.
I'm Prosper Kweku Selassie Agbito, reporter with Daily Analyst. Very often, issues of this nature happen, and all we hear is a press conference, declaration from DJ, yet the same thing happened again. What next, beyond what we are seeing today?
GNA.
My name is Christiana Ifwanya, Ghana News Agency. I want to ask, with ECOWAS Court of Justice that you determined by the end of March to take Ahmed Suale and other cases to, do they have that biting powers to jail corporates if indeed they are found out and arrested? Do they, have that biting powers to deal or discipline such criminals? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Media house name.
My name is Collins from Joy FM Joy News.
Collins.
Yes. My question got to do with Erastus and Ohime's issue. It says, I want to find out what is JJ also doing about the incident, apart from the press conference and describing the whole incident as it is happening. Are we just ending there, or JJ is looking forward on doing something?
Okay, any more questions, or then we'll take answers to the three, and then. So on the issue with Erastus and Oheming, I think Joy wants to know what other actions are in line to be taken besides the presser today, and then GNA needs a bit of education on the ECOWAS court and whether it has any biting powers. And then they, I think, Daily Analyst is also pretty much asking about what else, because it's pretty much the same thing, and they want to know what actions beyond the presser.
Okay, I thank you very much, Becky. Let me take the last question first from my brother from Joy. When the president was addressing us, he indicated having a meeting with the IGP just yesterday. So you should appreciate the steps the DJ has been taking to address these issues. And this is not the first time. We've been following up these cases for a very long time. And you can only take it one step at a time. You see, it is because we are not getting results locally. That is why in the cases of Ahmed Suale and Latif Idrisu, we want to go beyond to the ECOWAS court to seek justice for our brothers. Normally, I like to address this issue. We like to ask the question, what is DJ doing? Normally, I like to bounce the question to you. What are you also doing? Do we take time to use our platforms to denounce, to discuss some of these issues? And a lot of the time, we are concerned, or we are talking about the issues when our own is involved. Okay, if our own is not involved, we think the problem is far away. And I will make this example. There was a time in the last administration, DJ called for a boycott of a police activity in solidarity with Latif Idrisu. Because at the time, we felt that the police were not doing enough to find the perpetrators of attack against Latif Idrisu. And Latif Idrisu works with Multimedia Group. DJ called for a boycott, and Multimedia attended the function. So sometimes when you are pointing one finger at somebody, look at the ones pointing at you. We took that action in solidarity with Latif Idrisu, who works with Multimedia. And Multimedia ignored our call and attended that function. So sometimes you want to ask yourself, what am I also doing? And collectively, we will work to ensure the good of our members. Let's go to the ECOWAS forum. You see, sometimes justice is not only about jailing people or about finding people. For example, in the case of Latif Idrisu, what the police are telling us is that there's no evidence, and according to the police, the CCTV at the CID headquarters on that day the incident happened was off. And if there's no evidence, it means they can't take any action. But in my layman's view, okay, even if you can't find the perpetrators, can't we compensate him? He's been through a lot, okay, and he's had to pay medical bills. Can't the nation compensate him? So sometimes when they are seeking for a justice, and even we as a nation, we are asking for reparation. And reparation doesn't mean we are going to punish or jail anybody who took our forefathers away. But normally or invariably, reparation will come in the form of cash. Okay, so it is not always that it's about jailing anybody, but we have done our inquiries, and our lawyers have advised us that we can go to the ECOWAS Court of Justice to seek redress. So that is what we intend to do.
And with the ECOWAS court, the level of punishment is the bottom of the court.
Yeah, and you may read you may go to the website of the ECOWAS court. There are a number of cases they have addressed, and you can also read for yourself the orders they have made, the punishments they have meted out. So just go to the site and go through those things. Did I leave any question?
Yeah, I think beyond, I think we got the answer. Beyond the GGA.
Okay.
What are others also doing? Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Mr. Dato.
I'm Peter Kwao Adato, GH1 TV. I remember some time ago, under the last government, there was a case sent to ECOWAS court and was adjudicated. The rulings was made, and then I heard some lawyers and government people saying the court of ECOWAS does not have any binding on them. So whatever ruling that happened there, they are not obliged to implement the decision taken by the court. How sure are we that when we take this case there, we will indeed get justice for our brothers? Thank you.
Thank you. Another question on ECOWAS. Any more? Any more? Any more? No more questions? And I think that Mr. Dato, the General Secretary had indicated that a lot of conversations have been had with the lawyers ahead of coming to the conclusion of going to the ECOWAS Court of Justice. But I'll let the General Secretary come up and give you a bit more detail to that effect. Thank you.
Becky, thank you very much. So, as I said earlier, we have consulted our lawyers. Okay, and these are people with deep insights in human rights law at the international level, and they have advised us and given their capacity and the work they have done in that space. We want to believe them. At least locally, we have not achieved anything. So let's go and test the waters there too and see what will come out of it. You see, sometimes, just as I said in my earlier submission, sometimes even the pronouncement of the court alone, okay, no country wants to be looked at in a negative light. So if an international court or body is pronouncing to the whole world that you have done wrong, that alone is an indictment. It is the reason people don't seem, some people, I must say, don't seem to like the work we do. Otherwise, if police or soldier is conducting an exercise and you are videoing to go and tell the whole world that they are doing it, why should they be annoyed? Okay, so nobody wants to be portrayed in a negative light. So even the mere mention of you that you didn't do something right is an indictment. But we believe we can get something from the ECOWAS court that will serve as a form of justice for our brothers Suale and Latif Idris. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kofi Yeboah. Any more questions? If there are no more questions, we'll call it. Okay, so thank you very much. That on that note, we end today's press conference. Thank you all very much. In a moment. Yes. And after we close out, there will be opportunity for you to have the Ghanaian language translation for today's presser. And also, there's a gift from the leadership, precisely the president of the GJ, as a symbol of love to all who are here today. It's actually an appreciation of the good work that you do as journalists and for this country of ours. Thank you very much. And please stay behind those who need the Ghanaian language translation. Thank you all very much. Thank you. So, Kofi? So those who do not need, kindly slowly pick your tripods or whatever it is, your stands, your mics, so that you make adequate space for those who would like to receive the Ghanaian language translation without any interference, please. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, Kofi, so, hey, are we doing the sharing now before when they are done? So as they exit, they take so that, you're going by the list. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So all these, okay, Kofi, go ahead.
Okay, Emiamna Adolfo, Lucia Udia, Aya Evi, GJ, Yaye, and Central for Ishim. Na Yadi and Sam, it is to be Atuja. Na Emra GJ President or Casano. Obufo enime bi so otwe adwen ekọ so se afi ahyase na yeye esentuafo ehie mu a edikan eye 22nd January 2025 na sai ehie mu no ensem bi a yede tu dwa ne se yenuanum bi a omo sem ababe mfie ensieni a posifo etu ho anamobia ayeye yenua be ma Ahmed Suale a nipa bonifo bi ekobo no tu ekun no be mfiensie ni police enchi obia police efo obia enko court na eno na enye yede nti no ya dwin se Ghana indi emmoaye ene yebetu anamu akọ ECOWAS Community Court of Justice na ye aloya for akasa ama omo etu ye fo se yetu sa anamu na ebeboaye nti ya hihye se after the end of March se yehu se aposifo etu anamu bia ebema ye enkranhia yebeko ECOWAS court na ye kososo a enye Ahmed Suale nkoa yede ye nua bema Latif Idrisu case no so be kan na wo be kaya Latif Idrisu ono so be mfie ensia echini na demonstration bi koso wo police headquarters na oye ejuma wo multimedia na ono na yesuma ne se onko kaba ema aposifo bi de enkontima ebubo yitimu se mene okasei leti apai ama wakohu ayaresa bebre empepi no okwa abrochire eko surgery ni enhu enkeka ba ebesi enne aposifo nchi obia enfo obia nko court eni so enye yede nti no yese se Ghana endi emwaya eno so yede beko ECOWAS court eno na enenhie mu DJ president odi to just sayendre ya oni police penny IGP Yura Dr. Ekufu Dampari Eshiaye na omano enkrahye se obeye bibia fasa cases no ho nti ye hwe nim nemu ne yaka to no se du March ending na ye hu hwe ya anamo a ya boy yetimu po se yebetu sa anamo no enu echi president so ekasafa na sen assault cases bia aba ebisi wo Kumasi February 11 emra ye Council of State abato no enipa bonifo bi eko 2 shares central 4 and 9 bi so ebro eno na enye yede ebesi ne no yente ho hwe se aposifo ache sa enipa bonifo yi nti no ye kachre IGP ni aposifo se omo nye bibi emfa ho na enye de soso esan se Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council no ogwa na regional minister office bo na regional minister soso no ono na oye chairman ema Regional Security Council RESEC nti no se RESEC efichire na nipa bi timi eborura ho ekodi ensembu a etise ya ene ebe den na u betimi a convince me say RESEC betimi abo amafo ban ewo baby fufuro bi se wa ufie gwetimi ambo ho ban na eno na ya koye bibi se oman no baby aye ko no entweye etutura sem ne basabasa yo emu na ye ko enti no ye ka kire IGP na afeso so no omanpeni president Mahama say omuntu ho anamo na president Mahama krapo die oye member of the GJA enti no o tu ho anamo na ese na efata so na ye twi president Mahama adwen esi boshe bia oye anano 7 July 2024 emra okopre mampeni ekunya no one nsentwerefo ye ehyiemu bi ena GJ president ebisa no ensemienu bi ena ose one de say ye bro nsentwerefo no onfoa so enti no obeye ne obetumi bia say nsentwerefo eyi edie ebe ko kan na eno na ye twe na Jesus say sa bohye na ohye ye no otu ho anamo sesia na ye de ye be koso akai no na ankoye say kasa na okan ye na bohye na ohye ye no na obo ne sire mu na okan ye enti no ye sre no ontu ho anamo ena enu echi no ade ba ko a ye president editu dwane say empempi no ye ba enhyemu say ya na ye ka yema enye ye de ana boni a amanfo di ensentwerefo na enti saa eya ye hyemu say so a ye kasafa ensentwerefo ye nwuma ye nye ne yie na ne nyina ukabo mu a na edimu ama ye nyuma ye no aye projin enti no ene no ye tu esi wo se asem bi abeto ye nim a eye asefem e wo se ye ka ho asem na eno ne se ye nuanom Angel FM omo midday news omo to the say orgasm news na orgasm there sebio uka orgasm na si kire ne se sebio oba ne obema eda na omoho ba na ede na odisa edin se ekoto o news so enye feel say fata na essential ejuma no especially broadcasting kase bi wo ho a fata say ye de beye ejuma efa news ho enti no yesre Angel FM management say send ye edin no tie no Angel FM omumpe edin bi a ehotel efa to midday news enti no ye ka say na ka bible mu de say obofo bi ba angel bi ba wo nchen a na ode ensempa bi na ebreo na enye orgasm news enti no ye strong omo hwe ensisa sa edin no ena ne kwakwa no president asemba ko bi so a ode tu dra ye hiasem any say chocolate boa ayedin na Ghana de say tete kwashi kofa koko eba yeyi a ye dua koko wo Ghana a ewiase afane nyina woka amaya omudua koko pa Ghana ye toso mienu na say koko a eno na ye de chocolate na ye chocolate a eden na ne bo no etwamne na uko cocoa board asye oho no omuton no wholesale price eno krapo no obeton no kese no obeton no 25 cedis na uko stores afufuro bi mu a obenya no beye 30 cedis na emo wonam kwan so ti se ye nua no obeton ade wo kwan so yi bia ye beton ama 40 cedis na 40 cedis ye fufu ahin na bedi and a minimum wage kra no 18 cedis 15 pesos enipa hin na benya says ikeyi say what did you mean na upe bibidie apepa wenum na mekoto chocolate enye ni pegna na ebenya says kano na yakoye ni pay die yenum de ebia wo kon be do chocolate na say untimi to chocolate Ghana approach na maybe I'll change bi no ukoto Chinese for die bi na ekoba no sa so a na ye de yesika ma China for produce chocolate no na emma Ghana yesika sem enko n'enyim nti no yebesre cocoa board and a cocoa processing company say omo bomoden enye bibi emfa ho na chocolate board no embra from send e be ya obia ebehe di ato nti no ene ehie mo no be bono to fan na bitia wa mwe bedamasi.